I took care of my pops till he passed. Settled all his debts, defended him, everything, and I still to this day never understood. How could you walk away from somebody who looks just like you, yo? Like, just the idea of walking away from my son and my kids. Just the idea does something to me. Like it that I don't think it's nothing that my mom could have did that was that fucking impactful to me to even think about. Did my dad did you fucking look at me when you left? Did you think about me? Yo, dude, what is your fucking deal that you could, yo, man? And I took care of this man. Took care of him, loved him to no end. Cause I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be your pops. Don't no trip. I'll be your pops. I'll show you how this shit supposed to go.
Now I will never be your hater, I'm your biggest fan. I hope it falls into place just how you planned it. Life could put you in a pickle, just make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving, man. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, but more importantly, you saw the clip. Excuse me. Google a book first so you can find it on Amazon. Sometimes you might never understand people. So what Ali's talking about, Ali Sadiq, the comedian, you saw that. I have a similar story, but it went the opposite direction, right? Well, um, I'll say in the past 20 something years, because I'm gonna leave things having as a child, but as an adult, me and my dad had up and down relationship, and him and his dad had an up and down relationship. Hell, the generational curse. Me and my son got an up and down relationship. um, but some things were done. One thing in particular, I was playing sports in college, and my father called the coach to tell him I'm not a good person, basically. No, I wasn't talking to my dad at the time. It wasn't nothing personal, but I was just two different practices and schoolwork. I didn't really get into my room until nighttime every day, and probably had time on the weekends if that was it, right? So it wasn't nothing major because I wasn't in my room when he was calling me, and that was either at practice at like 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock classes, all them classes, and then practice at 3. So I wasn't in my room like whatever. So that bothered me because I really wanted to play sports, and he ruined it. Subsequently, I found out years later he was going to play sports at the same school, but he didn't go. So I was like, "Oh, you just being a hater." That's how I thought it. And then, um, his mother died. My grandmother. My grandmother was one of my best friends. Her and my other best friend died like 2 weeks apart. You know, like 15 years ago or whatever. So my grandmother was like, "Look, baby, when I go, I'm gonna leave you something." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." I was more so trying to get her to move in with me so I could take care of her, but she died first. And but she was telling me, "Look, I left you some money or whatever." She's like, "You buying a house? I want to give you money for the house." Like, okay. She passed away, whatever. Funeral, all that. My father comes to me, "Yo, your grandmother left you some money, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Do I have to go to the reading of the will of succession?" He's like, "No, I got it." I was like, "Okay." After that, he takes the money and cusses me out. And we didn't talk for a while because I'm like, I was like, I can't understand it. Because for me, I'm like, oh, okay, you better be glad you where you at and I'm where I am. Because there's a problem. Not just the principle. You did the school thing. You did this thing. He has a heart attack. Then I need to be a better person. I'm sorry. Blah blah blah. And I forget if my grandmother passed before that or after that. But anyway, either way, he just went back to being the same old person that was just crossing. It was a habitual line stepper, right? So years go by. Um, some good things happen, some bad things happen. I get into it with somebody about him because I have my son and I'm like, look, he's like, I'm gonna see my grandson, I'm gonna do this with my grandson. And I'm like, no, you're not. And the person like, you don't got no faith in your daddy, blah, blah, blah. So me and this other person get into it. And of course my dad didn't keep his word with my son at the time. And he's like, I can't believe it. I'm like, don't question me no more. So not I moved on from that. He had some good things happening to him. He's like, look, I'm gonna give you a gift, son. He gave me a gift, years ago, whatever. I'm like, okay. He got sick. When he got sick, I told him he could stay with me and I'd take care of him. But we were bumping heads. I wasn't the best person because at that point I was like, I'm like, for one, I shouldn't have had to take him in because of what he did with the grandmother situation. But his health is bad, so I'm like, it's the right thing to do. Your mother would want that. And then, but I couldn't understand the behavior. It was like, dog, are you worried about your health or you worried about getting high? And for me, he was worried about getting high more than he was worried about his health. And I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you gonna have to pay rent or something. Cause this ain't finna be little dope house. So I knew he was gonna make he was probably gonna leave. So he packs up, leaves. By the way, this month brought a whole family reunion worth of roaches into my house when he came. Like, it was just ridiculous. I was like, yo, you packed all this stuff up moving here. I was like, yeah, I got roaches. I'm like, okay, well, keep your stuff in the car. We'll clean your stuff. And then, we'll be straight. Nah, he wanted to do it his way. I went to work. He brought all the doggone bags in. There's roaches everywhere. That took me months to get rid of. But after the little thing, I'm like, okay, I was like, I just don't understand it. So I gave him that little ultimatum about paying rent. He left $2 on on the island in the kitchen and yanked the dishwasher out of the island or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I better not see you again. 'Cause I'm gonna kill you. That's how I was feeling, right? So I was like, man, whatever, leave me that alone, whatever. Years go by, kind of cordial, kind of talk here and there. You know, Spent some time with my son at the time, so that was cool. Um, but then something else happens. He hits his little lick. Let's just say that, and he like, son, look, I'm gonna give you X, Y, and Z. And his system, I like, you need to pay your son back for what you did to him, blah blah blah, back in the day. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I wasn't really concerned about none of this stuff in that way because I wasn't expecting anything from him, anyways, at any point in life. So I'm like, okay, cool. But he's like, look, but I need you to do me a couple of favors. I was like, all right, what's the issue? Is it depends on what you're asking. So he asked me wasn't too much. So I do the stuff. Some time goes by, and I'm like, yo, is this a repeat of what happened with your mother? So he goes off again. I'm like, oh yeah. Then he goes off, acts crazy, hangs up the phone. This time he didn't get a chance to cuss me out because if he would have did that, I probably would have went. I probably would have been at the front door the next morning, and it wouldn't have been pretty. Um, So I talked to his sister. I was like, I don't even understand it. Whatever. I kind of, I kind of hedged my best that that's a possibility. So wasn't really that hurt by it. But I'm like, you are who you are. But can't understand it. And then, so what I decided to do, I was just like, have a nice life. We done. Erase the number, block him on anything, social media, whatever. And when I saw Ali talk about that, I'm like, you know what? You never understand people. Never. Like some people, because you don't know what their motivations are, you know. And I come to find out he tell other family members a completely different story than what I just said, but they kind of know, like, oh, I know what you did, you know. So some people don't want you. You're not gonna understand people. Sometimes y'all not gonna see eye to eye. Sometimes you have to walk away. Sometimes you're gonna have to step on somebody. But if not understanding somebody is hurtful to your heart, I say Ali did the right thing, and I say I tried to do the right thing, but I also say sometimes you gotta just go, hey man, whatever. You know, whether you forgive a person and you just do what you think is the right thing for them and you, or you do the right thing for yourself, or you do the right thing by them, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes you just got to go, look, I'm not going to understand you. I know what's going to happen. It's not going to be pretty, but I've already accepted it. Because people don't change as they get older, okay? They pretty much stay the same. So sometimes you got to go, it is, you are who you are. So to me, it's unfortunate, but don't expect um, more than a person has shown. And I would say, my mother isn't a perfect person. She did some stuff too, but not to that magnitude. It's different. But if she did the same things, I'd have walked away too. So for me, I gotta say, I'm saying it's just in a people sense that you never understand some things, man. And it's on you to make a decision after you know what happens. And you could be righteous or you could be wretched. It's up to you. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna tell you that.